Shalom uvracha. HaChodesh hazeh lochem Rosh Chodashim. This is the first month of the year lochem for you, for the Jewish people. Rashi says at the beginning of the Torah, brings from Chazal, that the Torah should have started from HaChodesh hazeh lochem. It should have started from here, but for a special reason we start from the beginning, from Bereshis. But the question itself seems to be a strange question. Rashi says it's the first mitzvah. But the Torah isn't just about mitzvot. There's so much in the Torah, like the Ramban says, all the stories of the Torah present the fundamentals of our faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So why should the Torah start specifically from HaChodesh hazeh lochem? Why this mitzvah? It is the first mitzvah that we receive as a nation. But why start specifically from here? I think the basic answer to this is that HaChodesh hazeh lochem presents a new perspective of time, a different perspective, a different frame of time from the one which the Torah starts from. In the first words of the Torah, Bereshis bara Elokim, says the Sforno, the Vilna Gaon also says this, that these words are the first ma'amar, the first speech of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with which the world was created, and the creation that's latent in this first ma'amar, this first speech of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is time. The world begins with the creation of time, because without time, nothing can exist, at least in our mindset. There's nothing in the world, not humanity and not the world itself, that can exist outside of time. We all need our time, and therefore, in the very beginning, Bereshis is the creation of time. But the time that was created in Bereshis is a natural cycle, a natural time frame that begins in Tishrei or around Tishrei. This is the beginning of the agricultural cycle, when we gather in the produce from the previous year and we begin to plow and to sow, to plant the produce for the coming year. That's why Rosh Hashanah, the new year, the Jewish New Year, begins in Tishrei, the start of the agricultural cycle. HaChodesh hazeh lochem is a different frame of time, a different cycle. It's a cycle that leads, but doesn't lead towards the ingathering, the harvest, and the ingathering of the produce, but rather leads towards the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the revelation of God in our world, and more specifically to the connection between us, the Jewish people, and humanity generally, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem. That's where our time, the Jewish time, HaChodesh hazeh lochem, that's where it leads. It leads towards the revelation of Hashem among us, in connection, in relationship to us. And therefore, this is where the Torah should have started. From the beginning of this relationship, the beginning of this revelation in the speech of Hashem to the Jewish people, the very first speech which constitutes a new frame of time. That's where the Torah should have started, because that's what the Torah is all about. The relationship between Hashem and man, the relationship between Hashem and humanity that goes through the Jewish people. And this is so relevant for us because it gives us a mindset. It gives us an internal motion that's relevant for all of our interactions, whether we're at work, whether we're studying, whether we're doing sport, or whether we're in some kind of a friendly dialogue. In all of these, we can have a mindset, we can have an approach that says it's about me. It's about me and about what I'm doing. Or we can have an approach, it's about us. It's about my connection to others. It's about my connection to friends, to family, to colleagues, to those with whom I'm engaging in sport. Whatever it is, it's about the relationship. And that's the mindset that Yetzias Mitzrayim brings to the world. When we left Egypt, we didn't just leave any old place. We left a base avodim. We left a house of bondage, a place where relationships were taboo. It was about slavery, enslaving somebody else. The same thing is true of idolatry, enslaving a god for my purposes, and the god also enslaves me. Hashem brings a different approach to the world, a different mindset. It's a mindset of relationship. We're in relationship with Hashem, and we're in relationship with our fellows. That's why v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your fellow like yourself, is a klal gadol, is a tremendous principle of the Torah, because all of the Torah is about bringing this new approach, this new perspective into the world. And it begins here, hachodesh hazeh lachem, with a new frame of time, a new cycle that leads inevitably towards this connection between Hashem and the world, between us and our fellows. And how important is this idea specifically now? At a time when evil raises its head, at a time when we, the Jewish people, once again find ourselves under attack with these terrible terror attacks that have started to plague us, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should save us from any harm and any further tragedy. But at this time, it's a time when we need to focus on our unity. It's so easy to start playing blame games and saying it's his fault, or it's somebody else's fault, or it's the fault of different organizations that should have done better. And certainly we need to learn lessons, and we need to do our utmost to prevent, chas v'shalom, any further tragedy. But at the same time, so important, imperative for us to be united at this time, to internalize the message of Achodesh Hazeh Lochem. We have a special time frame, and that time frame is a time frame of connection, of relationship, of friendship, of love, of togetherness. Only through Achdus, only if we're united at this time, as we were at Yetzias Mitzrayim when we came out of Egypt, as we were when we accepted the Torah at Har Sinai, then we can defeat our enemies. Then we can bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu into the world, and then we can merit the final redemption, which will be like the redemption of Yetzias Mitzrayim, Ki meitzeichem me'eret Mitzrayim, like the time that you were taken, redeemed from Egypt. Ar'enu niflois, I shall show you wonders. We should merit those wonders. We should be saved from all strife, from all of our adversaries and enemies, and we should have a beautiful Shabbos.